This is Between Hooksets. I'm Chasen Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Curt Underhill from the fishing crew.
What is up, dude?
That was a big hook set with a dainty reel.
Yeah, it was like middle of the rod reel. It was an interesting reel this week. Wasn't
it? Honestly, it felt a little odd to be like, okay, well, somebody's gonna make fun of me now. Yeah, like what in the hell is going on there? But Uncle Lou, how do you do? Okay, hang on. I got to shut my phone down. We've got a little cousin, and we've got a whole family chat thing going on here. And by golly, they started this 15-person chat thing, and I'm going to have notifications bopping at me the whole time we're on the show tonight. So
nothing worse, buddy. Nothing worse.
Nothing worse than notification after notification. So, all right, let's do this. Let's get Carrie in here quick because, he might, I don't know if he'll spend 15, 20 minutes with us, maybe a little bit more. We're going to talk about the Mobridge Ice Fishing Show. Oh, I was going to pop this up first, but that's okay.
I was wondering what you wanted to do there. So
that's okay. I got a little long into it. Carrie, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How you guys doing?
Wonderful. So let's ask you real quick. Do you have to get back to what you were doing?
I have some obligations to get to, but we can visit for a while. You bet.
Yeah,
let's talk some ice and let's talk some fishing.
Yeah, I thought we'd set the stage like, okay, let's shoot for 15 minutes and then we can let you go and go do your deal. So the Mobridge Ice Fishing Tournament is this weekend. The expo started today, correct? Or at least things are getting set up.
Expo starts tomorrow. The setup was today. Expo starts tomorrow and then Friday.
Okay. All right. So you guys are just busy setting stuff up. I know the parking lot out here at Share How was just absolutely packed with people getting things ready to roll.
Yep. A lot of volunteers today, setting up tables, chairs, getting all the prizes in from storage, getting things lined up. And we just got done now out at the Coke plant, putting 575 buckets together with bottles of water and snacks and everything, numbers. Got that done with a bunch of volunteers. So yeah, it's a pretty smooth run operation.
Yeah, you got quite a few years into this thing. Is this year number? This is 20, right?
I believe it's number 26. I think.
Okay. Oh yeah, it would be 26 because you started in 2000 even.
It was the 25th, the big one last year. Yeah,
right.
This is 26 years already.
Yeah, 26 of them. Okay, so here's the crazy thing about rules night, right? This is how it starts. And this is how it ends up.
Yeah, exactly. It's unbelievable. The people pour in, and I mean, it's been overwhelming, honestly.
It's fantastic. I'm excited to be here for the first time. I didn't want to drive 5 hours and then check it out and drive 5 hours back home because there's no room in the inn, right? I mean,
it's and that's the good thing. It started last Saturday already. People showing up. It's actually turned into a winter vacation, winter festival for people. They get together, groups they only see once a year, but they made it, now they hang out and do stuff and, just long lost friends get together for a good time on the ice and a good fun weekend.
Yeah. So, okay, let's back up just a tad and get into your guide service because this really actually talking about the guide service is really going to help us understand the ice because you've actually been out driving on the ice, not in a vehicle. But tell us about your guide service and then tell us about the running around you've been doing the last couple of weeks on the ice.
Well, we've been I don't do much ice guiding anymore, but I'm out there every day and I'll help people, tell them what's going on, checking it, and hanging out with them. But the ice, it's the Missouri River, it's ever changing. And then it seems like the years past, and especially this year, our weather is just so unstable, it changes by the hour. So, out here, you have to be really aware of what's going on because it does change by the hour. Ice conditions, as winter kind of started early. Everybody's go, oh man, we got a lot of snow. It's going to be a heck of a winter. We got cold, we got ice. And then all of a sudden it warmed up and the ice went away. And then it came back and now it went away. And just fortunately, we didn't get that rain yesterday to get that more water on top of the ice. There's enough the way it was where there was snow melting and some slush pockets. Last night froze up, seamed up pretty good. I was out this morning. Of course, the water that was on the ice yesterday froze up pretty good unless it was real deep and it's still freezing. The forecast looks good. It's traditionally the old areas that we have trouble with are still going to have trouble with. It doesn't matter if you got 3 feet ice; those spots are going to be dangerous. You got to just stay away from them. Between the bridges in town. I would recommend. This is my personal. You can go out as long as you're safe. Walk and check. Spud ahead of you. Wolf Bay South is going to be a non-event. Wolf Bay, the Blue Blanket would be real touchy, sketchy. You better drill and go as you go. Indian Creek, north to town, there's some spots you need to watch out for, but as a rule of thumb, there's 8 to 9 inches of good ice. I mean, that's the thing. The ice that is there is good ice. It's clear ice. You can see through it. Very good ice. Town north at 8 to 10 inches. Up the Grand, I'm hearing 10 to 13 inches. Up by Pollock, same thing. They're kind of next down, and you got those current swings. So where there's current, there's probably open spots up there, but right next to it, you might have 12 inches. So you kind of got to know where you're going. And if you don't, walk, check as you go. That's kind of the bottom line.
You got to be careful. You get up to Pollock, you get up on the east end. Is it Highway 10? That bridge, it's open under the bridge, right at the bridge, but there are, a bunch of people out there with their portables.
Oh, yeah, up on Picasso, the lake itself. Any place where you got water that's running between places like that. And we always go out here. It's called Thin Ice Point. I mean, there's one just south of Timber Bay. The points on Blue Blanket are that way. Little Bear, North Point gets that way. North of town, the Rock Island by Oak Creek gets that way. Up by Pollock, Black Hawk Bay, just south of there, Thin Ice Point. Anywhere where that channel swings. And the thing is, up north, they're not running a lot of water this year. Fortunately, it's a good thing for the ice. Unfortunately, it's not great for fishing because it doesn't activate the fish. Anytime you got current, it makes those fish a little more aggressive and active. But as you get closer where you get that transition up by Pollock, where the lake turns into a river, you do have a little more current up there. So I know some guys the last 2 days have been up there during the day while they're fishing. They had fish houses out. The holes did change during the day, and they moved their houses, and they were fine. But they went from an 8-inch hole to a 12-inch hole by the end of the day, just because the water was water on the ice. And they did have some more snow up there, too. So there is more water on the ice, too. So you just have to be really aware of what's going on. And like I say, it changes hourly out here. So just because you went over a spot in the morning, on your way back in the afternoon or evening, that spot could be open. So you really need to be watching what's going on.
Yeah, and then that's that river, like you said, is ever changing. Be careful out there. Spud ahead of you. That's the biggest thing. Spud.
Oh, absolutely. Be prepared. My rigs, like I said, I'm not really guiding for it, but I'm ready for a call if somebody calls and needs something. If I can get there, I'm going to go try to help them. I have a 100-foot rope with a buoy on the end of it. I have throw cushions, have a life jacket, picks, anything to help someone get out of the ice, I've got it to do it, and like I said, you could be standing on 12 inches ice and in 10 feet away, it's open water. I mean, that's just how it is.
Right.
I mean, I moved my fish house this morning just because I knew it was going to happen. The wind blew yesterday, water in the ice, the water around the house cut, but the ice house was actually on good ice yet, but getting to it and around about a 8-foot.
Nope.
And we lost him.
Got a phone call.
Yep. Oh, sure. Got a phone call. He'll be back. That's fine.
A couple comments here. Four shacks fell through on Ponset today. I mean, I think Ponset's one of those lakes. No matter what, you're from over in that country. It could be a sub-zero winter and people go through on Ponset. So
yeah, they're like that, and we're gonna go through that once we get we'll get through Carrie here. We'll talk about the thin ice. I got pictures and all that stuff. So Carrie, thank you for mentioning.
Anybody that's going to Mobridge, just use caution. Watch the heaves. Obviously, I was going to ask Carrie what the heaves are looking like, because that's always a bad spot. So be careful around those. Be careful around them points, like Carrie said. So take your time with it. Looks like
I'm getting notifications too. People call them on nice conditions.
Yeah.
And that throws you off right there.
All right, we got you.
So I was going to ask you, how are the heaves looking?
In all honesty, it's probably the least amount of heaves we have that I've seen in a few years. And they're running, I guess you would call it perpendicular, the mouth of the bays, but they're not going across the lake like they normally do.
Okay.
So, at the mouth, you got cracks and seams. There's another notification. We'll get rid of that one. So it's, But the same old thing, man, with our ice conditions this year and the water on the ice and the wind, man, stay away from the heaves. I wouldn't even think about crossing a heave right now.
No,
not even. There's just,
it's
just not enough ice. When you got a foot of ice on both sides, you can kind of limp and make a way across them. But when you only got 6-8 inches of ice, you put that weight on, that edge next to it, the whole chunk can break away.
Oh, yeah. Way too easy. And there's some bigger cracks out there that are obviously they're freezing now because we started last night. We're making ice. I don't think we got above freezing today, so we've been making ice all day.
Oh yeah, right? It's helping, but the thing is that is the scary part because it looks like it froze over, but it's only an inch or two thick in those spots. So that's why you don't. There's just like Curt said, spud bar ahead. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Just be careful, and there ain't no fish worth it, right?
Absolutely not. And in this tournament, you got the hardcore fishermen that want to go fish and chase fish and catch fish. And of course, everybody wants to catch fish, but the majority of the guys, like I said, they're here for a good time. They're here to hang out, win a bunch of prizes, just have a good, safe time, and that's what we're hoping everybody does.
So 26 years into this, do you have what is your dollar amount for prizes this year? Do you know?
I think we're pressing. I think we're pressing that $275,000 to $280,000.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's unbelievable. I mean, and like I said, with the support of everybody, and it's incredible what it's grown into. From like when it first started, and we gave a Jiffy ice auger, I believe. That was the big prize of the tournament.
Story I've always heard is the first one was for a Mr. Buddy heater.
Yeah, exactly. It was incredible. And I don't know if you guys heard how it all started. There was like 3 people on our tourism committee at that time, the original tournament, and it was my wife Dawn. It was Jeff Jackson and Barry Bibler at the time, the first original one. And they were sitting around thinking, God, what could we do? And I said, hey, let's have an ice tournament. Nobody's fishing out here. We were running New Everett's at the time. And I said, I come from the east and we're ice fishing crazy back there. There was a few locals that did it, but not many people. And they were intimidated by the ice. And I said, throw an ice tournament and see what happens. And away from there, she went,
Boom.
Now we're 26 years later talking about almost $300,000.
Yeah, incredible. And the other thing is we wanted to keep it as a walleye ice tournament, 2-man team, where you weigh it just like a summer tournament in a boat, but it's just a 2-man team, not a derby where you drill holes, you draw your places and all that stuff. Still an actual ice tournament,
Yeah.
So for the guys that are like I said, the guys that are the fishermen that want to get out and get after it, they have. I mean, more power to them and good for them.
It's what 500 and how many teams this year? Do you know? 546,
576. We did tonight, Curt.
Okay.
Yep, 576 teams. So yeah, that's a lot of bodies.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, without our community and the volunteers that we have, we're so fortunate that we got that core group that always gets it done, gets the organization, but we have so many volunteers that well over 100 people through the weekend helping us do stuff. So I mean, the people behind the scenes are incredible, and they're the ones that don't get the stuff. So if we can give them a shout out, they're the ones that really help get her done.
Well, I was going to say that before we start even talking is, what people don't understand, and all 3 of us have seen the back end of a tournament, right?
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't just start the morning of, or
no. I know for a fact. Well, there'll be a meeting in a week or 2 after when everybody catches their breath. And then I know the prizes and the big sponsorship stuff. I know my son Jesse's working on it by the end of the month already for next year.
Yeah, you're working before it's already started for the next stuff, right? I mean, it never quits. It's a year round. It ain't one weekend. It ain't 1 week. It's a year round project to make.
Oh yeah. And then to make sure, and then and there's always a monkey wrench that gets thrown into it here and there where somebody can't get it, or how it is. You guys have been there. It's a hard deal,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're selling yourself all the time. This is pretty much sold itself. And like our original sponsors, I mean, they're stuck with us through thick and thin, and they are so good, So it's incredible.
So and then talk about rules meeting night and then tournament day. I mean, you're herding cats.
Oh yeah, Yep. And everybody's got their job and assignment, and it goes, just as smooth. And I'm glad you're going to be around to see it. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's for as big as the event of it is, it comes off. And it's the same thing. It's behind the scene. There might be a glitch, but we don't ever let the people out front know that something's happened.
Yeah, the world's burning down behind the scenes. As long as the world doesn't know, it's good.
The wheels are turning. We're going forward.
I mean, so you guys, like I said, you've kind of got it down to a pattern. I mean, I've been there quite a few times, helped with it a few times, been in it a couple times, and it's seamless. You will get there. I mean, it's crazy. The doors at Sure-How are locked until 5 o'clock or whatever time it is. And there's people wrapped around the block. It doesn't matter how cold it is.
Oh yeah, nope. They're waiting in line. Them doors open. They're coming in, and it just they pick up what they need to do and go get their chairs and wait. And it's pretty doggone good. And I think even on rules meeting night, and we'll give away half the prizes then in the fish houses on that night, and then the rest of them on the second night. It's no later than 10 o'clock, and we got them out the door.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's
not to mention raffle tables and everything else you guys do.
And then the girls are out selling raffle tickets, and by the time we get one done, they're selling the next round. And I mean, it goes through pretty good. I mean, and we've learned over the years what works and what doesn't. And it just like I said, it's pretty well-oiled machine right now.
Yeah, and this band's fishing for quite a few years. Eric Brand, right? How are you, buddy? So,
hey Eric, how's it going?
I'm sure he's already there, or he'll be there in the morning one of the two. But I mean, it's kind of crazy. We've interviewed the guests. Now, let's get into the fishing a little bit. I've heard it's pretty tough because there's a lot of bait.
Oh my God, Curt. It's just, and it's great for the system. I get it. But for this earlier ice deal, with it being kind of a late fall and warming up, I mean, I moved my fish out this morning, and I just moved it to get it to a decent spot of ice. And I drilled the holes out and looked down. Oh, yeah, I could have stuck my arm down and grabbed the shad that were swimming under the ice yet. They should be dead and gone by now, but they're not. It is what it is, and that's the way it is,
Okay, so you brought up the shad because there's been quite a bit of talk around town about the dead shad coming through when you're drilling holes and you're popping through, but you're seeing quite a bit of live bait.
Well, and normally, just by watching the water temps on the live scope, that where you got the pole, down below the ice, normally the water temps is like right at freezing, and we should be making ice. Well, water temps like at 35 degrees right below the ice. So that's just telling you something right there. It's not cold. In the middle of the winter, it's usually 32.1, right at freezing as far as down. So, and then, and there's in the bite. Yeah. I would say, I'm going to be totally honest with it. It's brutal in the Mobridge area right now, just because of the bait situation. We had this happen before. The late Denny Palmer and me and him were good friends, and we had this happen, and we kind of figured out a little deal one year when this did happen. We had the big smell. The shad die off. You'd put a weight down the bottom, and the bottom would just poof, and they would float up, just dead, full of them. Wow. But it was a little earlier in the year. So, by the tournament time and by the end of January, the fish were kind of starting to go. Well, we still got live. I don't know if they will die off. I don't know if the water's going to get cold enough to where they'll all die off. I don't know. With that being said, the further north you go, the water gets colder. You got a little bit of current up in the Pollock area. Definitely not near the shad up there is what there are here right now. So there is a little bit of a bite up there, and that's just the way it is. That's the bottom line. So
I think from what I heard, the smaller fish and the perch are popping, but the bigger fish just want nothing to do with anything.
Like you said, I've been at about just about 2 weeks now that I got on and went over, and everybody knows that I go across and where I fish, and I just it's close to home, and I just do it there, and it is what it is. It's more just to get out there. You can catch some catfish. Catfish are great eating. I had some of my guys that are here at the lodge, some of them today. Some went north, and some we just want to go get some catfish to eat. I said, well, go by all my fish houses. They ended up with a bucket of catfish. And they had a ball.
Please,
so that's the main thing. I've caught 8 walleyes in 2 weeks. 1 4-pounder, really nice fish. Every fish I caught were like old times, came up and hailed it and crushed it, but none of them had anything in their stomach. So that was the thing. Either they were slow and couldn't catch the shad or what happened, but they're really good shape, really nice fish. But man, you watch, for every one you catch, you watch 100 of them that don't eat, you know. The fish are there. The people with cameras are putting them down. You're seeing walleyes, and it's just, you know, it's just like when you've been to the buffet table and you pull away from the table and say, I can't eat no more. That's what's going on right now.
Yeah, that's too bad. But, you know, tomorrow could be another day. Well, tomorrow could be another day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Overnight. Yes, it could turn on overnight. But yeah, that's just, I mean, I've always been that way. I mean, that's I've been honest, and that's what it is. I mean, it's a tough deal out there right now.
Scott Picklet wants to know if you're jigging any PK spoons.
Well, honestly, I will tell you that's the only thing I've caught them on, and I will say that. And I use a lot of different products, and that has been not the flutter spoon, the short one that looks like a shad, and that's the only reason I switched to it, because I usually don't use that until late in the year or way out deep. But that is definitely the lure that has taken more fish this year. Yep.
With that. So the shad, you know, we were always told they're going to die off, right? They're supposed to die off in the winter. Do you think over the last couple of winters we've seen a die off of these things, or do you think they're wintering because we're not getting the super cold hard winters?
The second is the truth. I don't think we're getting the cold water where it's way down the water column. And these shad, they'll move. I mean, they're going to move like anything else. If they're uncomfortable, they're going to go to where they're comfortable. And you know, there's springs and artesian springs that are warm water in the system, because why does the water open in places and never freeze, you know?
Right.
So what's going to happen? That's where those shad are going to go survive.
Yeah.
You know? So I do think, I mean, right now we are in a high cycle of shad. We have a lot of shad out there, and we had a huge spawn of them. I don't know how old they are. I'm not a biologist. You can ask them that, but the ones I'm seeing that are swimming are probably 4 to 6 inches long.
So wow.
You know, and then of course, then we got the lake herring too. And if you're bored out there, you can catch all the lake herring you want. They'll follow you. I mean, I could show you guys a video that I took last week standing in my fish house. And I said it looked like Jurassic Jaws down there. I had like 5, 6 of them swirling under my house, you know, that I took a video of with not me even putting the camera down to the water.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
right under the ice.
So they say them shad will spawn up to 4 times in a year with right conditions. That's why they're such a great bait fish for the smaller fish, is because there's always size in there that these things will eat, you know, and they get big. I mean, they get really big. I think that I think the world record came off of Lake Sharp for a gizzard shad.
Sure. You know, it's like 3-4 pounds, isn't it, or something?
It's like 4 pounds. It's huge.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's incredible.
I was talking to a gentleman from Colorado. We had Nate Zielinski on a year or so ago, and he was saying they have cold water shad up there that don't die up in the mountain lakes.
Really?
You know, so they've got shad that don't die off up in those mountain lakes. And so I don't know, maybe these things will adapt over time.
It's a possibility. I know when the state releases them, they're trying to raise them, and they're releasing them as adult shad, you know, some bigger ones.
Wow.
So maybe that's what's happening. Maybe we are getting a natural spawn now of them.
Yeah. So they time that window right before they're going to spawn to grab those mature adults and bring them to the lake. And you think we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. I think that the Walleye Coalition finally got them to stock it, and they only put 2,500 in a year.
Yes.
You know, up north is 1 year, down south is 1 year. So they're doing the fishery meeting right now. We're going to have Finsel on later on to talk about what's going on and find out what's all happening in the system. But what we saw all summer down here, and I think up there, is bait galore.
Oh gosh, yes. Which, you know, the thing is, the difference is between summer and winter, their metabolism rate is way faster.
Yeah.
In cold water, I read, this is years ago, that, you know, a 4-pound walleye eats once in 3 days. That's all he needs to eat, and it digests his food. So if that fish eats a 6-inch shad, okay, so he's probably going to eat in 3-4 days again. You know, then he eats one more. They're not gorging themselves. Whereas prior to ice up, you know, you get that fall bite. That's when they're gorging themselves, and that's when that hot bite is.
Yep. And then that pre-spawn and post-spawn bite, you know, they're themselves to get the feed bag on to go spawn, and then they get done spawning. And
the other thing with all this bait fish coming back on the Walleye, and I've seen the cycles in the 36 years I've been out here playing this game, and I've seen it over the years do this here. I mean, everybody wants to bait fish. I get it, but you can ask us guides. That's like, man, I don't ever want to see the smelt, and I don't want to see those shad. Because, well, and not because of the health of the fish, because it is good for the fish, and it separates them out. You know, the old days of sitting on a school of fish and catching 100 fish on one school. You have to move around, which is a good thing. You get a few fish. It's not changed that part of it. We're still getting in the fish are quality, really good shape. But what happens is, in my gut feeling, from this area to mid to lower Hawaii, especially with the smelt coming back, because we need to talk about the smelt. They're coming back too. We seen that last spring, last summer, and actually had a smelt run up here last year in the spring. Those are migrator fish, bait fish. The shad don't migrate so much, but the smelt do. So come the end of June, in July and August, half our fish that used to spend the summer up here leave now, and they're in the southern end of Lake Hawaii, and that's the fish you guys are seeing now down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know, and then the big fish are eating those lake herring. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yep.
You know, there's a fine line there. The small, my gut feeling is the 10 to 17 inch fish eat the shad. The 20 inch fish up to 25, 6-inch fish are eating the smelt, and the 26 inch fish up to the mammoths are eating the herring.
Yeah, we asked Mark Finsel if he could have unlimited boundaries to grow us the biggest walleye possible, how would he do it? And he said, well, to start out, I'd put it in a cesspool of shad till they're about 18, 19 inches. And then I would put them on smelt until they were about 26, 27 inches. And then he goes, then I'd put them on rainbow trout. And he goes, I grow them for 20 pounds every.
Isn't that something? And that's our rainbow trout, our lake herring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. True.
And that's why people, you know, they complain about other fisheries. Oh, they don't grow them like that because they don't have the food substance.
Exactly.
Lake Sharp, we don't have smelt and we don't have Cisco, right?
Exactly.
We have gizzard shad. That's why it produces a ton of slot fish.
Those medium-sized fish, yes. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it makes it all to make it. I mean, to make the world go round.
100%. And the other thing is people always thought after the flood of 2011 that we dumped Cisco into the gizzard shad or herring into the lake. We didn't.
No.
What I learned from Finsel is lake herring don't thrive when smelt thrive.
Nope.
Because lake herring lay their eggs under the ice, and just as they're coming out to be fry, that's when the smelt run up to do their spawn, and they're like piranhas and they eat everything in there.
To fry, exactly. I mean, they're all predators. I don't care what they say. From little on, all these fish are predators.
Yeah,
you know, they're opportunists, and if there's a meal in front of them, they're going to eat it.
Yeah,
you know, and I disagree on, and I know they're thinking on the lake herring thing where they're not a bait fish eater and stuff. Well, I have video to prove that just on a bare hook and a minnow below my ice shack, they're not. I mean, I'm not moving this thing, and the lake herring are coming up and they're eating those minnows whole by the tail. I mean, they're sucking those minnows in. I watched them do it. So that they can't tell me that they don't eat bait fish.
Well, it's like with smallmouth. You were around for when they put smallmouth.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's a whole different story.
They don't eat the same forage, and I'm like, That's why you catch them while you're catching walleyes. Good.
Yeah. No, they're eating. They're all predators. They all eat. I mean, and if you can keep that balance with all of it, we're all in good shape. Sometimes it gets a lot of whack, but you know, Mother Nature has a way of righting itself.
Sheldon, I don't know if you'll be driving a snow bear around this weekend.
Not this weekend.
Oh, he will be, because he's going to be up on Lake Winnipeg in a tournament.
Oh, he's not even. Oh,
he's coming down here.
On your smallies, buddy.
I hope you're talking about Sheldon Meitinger. Yeah. No, he's up on Lake. He's going to be on Winnipeg, but there's guys coming down here, but no, he'll be on Winnipeg.
Gotcha. He's going to Winnipeg for the.
Oh, they do that circuit up there, which is
awesome. That's right.
But from what I understand, you don't have if you're not in a track rig up there, you're not getting around this year.
No, heard that already.
Yeah, it's brutal up there. Yeah, but no, you know, we're looking for a good tournament. Just the same old thing. Everybody's got to be safe. You know, we just got to. It comes down to common sense, fellas. That's the bottom line.
100%.
Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, so let's do this. Let's make it official. Can you make it official tonight? Because everybody's asking, are they going to cancel the tournament? Are they going to fish?
Absolutely not. The tournament will go on.
Okay, so there you go. Give us the official word. Yes, the tournament is on. We are fishing.
Yep. You know, we've canceled it one time since we had it, and that's the whole lake opened up. you know, just like I said, we could have 30 inches ice and people are going to drive into a heave if they're not smart about it and not checking the ice. So that part of it, you know, like I said, all the old spots that are always dangerous are going to be dangerous or have open water. And there are a few new spots where you probably thought, you know, I'm fortunate. I live here. I watch it freeze over. I make a point to go, even I'm busy guiding pheasant hunting, but when it starts to freeze, I make a point every day to take a drive and watch where it's freezing, how it freezes, and when it opens back up. I know people think I'm crazy going, and I go to Timber Bay. Everybody knows it. I did it forever. That's just kind of like home to me. That's where I go across to. And they think I'm nuts going over there. I watched it freeze this year. It froze the first night it froze over there, never reopened. It reopened down at LeCompte, the next bay south of it, and it reopened from Redvine Bay over to Deadman's. Never did reopen where I crossed the ice. You know, so I mean, I am fortunate to watch where it freezes and where it doesn't when it starts to open. I have good friends that watch down at the Walsh Bay, goes there and checks it religiously, gives me a report on it. I have a video of some guys with a Willcraft, which would be a great sales video. 2 days ago, went out of Walsh Bay, went in a crack, came in the water, came out of the water, unbelievable. But I would not go down. I would strongly suggest not crossing the river down there unless you really know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, that's kind of the bottom line. Safety is number one in our eyes. You can't teach common sense. You just got to use it.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, what is it to actually win the tournament? Like, how much?
Like, is it $500?
I was just saying,
right.
$5 to win the tournament. So
yeah, that's not. Yeah, there's no. I don't care. I don't care if it was $1 million. There's no fish worth dying.
No.
But it's the idea of it. It's just come, have a good time, be safe, use your heads, be respectful of other people. Luckily, it's going to be cold and things are froze up. The shorelines end, the access points, and some of these roads that people tear up. I get it. I know why people get mad and put gates and stuff because people do not use common sense. Don't go there when it's muddy. You know, just stay out. It's just use your heads. Bottom line.
Well, and that's one thing like I've always loved about your Mobridge area is the fields that you can drive through to get to the lake. We don't have that down here.
No, we are lucky.
Well, you guys have such, and people, I remember a couple of years ago, people were complaining about, I don't remember which one it was. It doesn't matter, but, they put a gate up. Well, yeah, because you guys tore it up and made a mess.
Exactly. Like, you know, just common sense. Yeah. And I think I know what you're referring to. And they actually had cattle on corn stalks and the guys didn't close the gates. Well, that's gonna make any rancher mad, you know?
Yep.
Just be fortunate that you guys have that because you know, we're
lucky. I mean, with Dan, our parks, I mean, he's so freaking good. Our head parks guy and all of our guys that work for the Game and Fish up here, they have 4 spots, I think, around Mobridge just for the winter months now that you can access on the lake, like below the theater in town, up above by the water plant, I believe, down at the sale barn and at Redvine Park. They actually opened up so people have access to the lake, which normally you wouldn't have.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We don't have any of that down here, right? Yeah. You know, if you go put in if we get ice on the main river, you know, there's so much of this river down here that a guy can't fish, right? Sure. I mean, but there's areas that if you had an access kind of like you guys do in Mobridge, you could probably get to them to fish in the bays. But we don't have zero access to a lot of these things, and they will not make an access point for us.
Yeah. Well, and here's a for instance for you. I normally just out from my house where I live here, I just go out to Blue Blanket out here on the lake access at Sandy Beach and go off out over here. Well, during the hunting seasons, they close the gates, and I get it. You know, that's fine and this and that. I drove out there. It was froze it was New Year's Eve day. I drove out there just to check, and the road's all rutted up. I mean, it was froze, but you know, some person just turn around, don't keep going. But they went all the way, tore the hell out of the road, mud everywhere, and they couldn't get in there anyway because the gate was closed. You're supposed to park and walk in. Well, so I called. I actually called our game warden and I said, for ease of access, and I get why you guys do this because the roads get tore up, but once it gets frozen in the ground, for safety reasons, instead of making people go around cracks, this makes it kind of nice, you know, for people to use down here and go out here. And I said, is there any? Well, usually it's the end of the hunting season before we open it up. I said, I get it. Not a problem. Just checking, just good about it. But I said, I appreciate, I just want to know for sure so I can plan myself. And, I drove into town New Year's Day. And on the way home, I met the game warden on top of Tower Hill here. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to drive out there and check. And sure as hell, he went out and opened those gates. And I got a call. They opened the one at Revheim too. So thank you to our Game and Fish for doing that. It's just common sense. There it is. Common sense again.
Yep, that's fabulous.
So we are fortunate. Everybody works, gets along up here, and we've been really lucky.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a great thing. It's such a great ice fishing area. I spent many nights, many weekends up there in the Mulbridge area fishing, and it's one of my favorite spots to go ice fishing. And it mainly because of ease of access.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. If you want to get in the back of the Morrill River, you can.
Absolutely.
You can. Yep. You don't have to go across from Swan Creek.
No. Take the Black Chicken Road and head down there.
Yep. So you got ways to get down to there, which is incredible. We don't see that down here on the southern end of the lake.
Yeah. No, we're real fortunate that way for sure.
And that's awesome. Like we've always talked when the ice gets, the few years we get thick ice, how fun it'd be to go fish Sully Flats.
Oh my gosh. You got in the 90s when I was guiding down there, I always talk about it myself. My God, this would be an ice fisherman's dream. Of course, you don't get the ice because you got so much stuff down there.
You have to travel 6 miles of ice to get there.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
No doubt. You could open an access up a lot closer to be able to get there.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. But it takes the right people, and there's different mindsets, and it's got to all come together. And fortunately, we've been able to have that up here. The whole core group of everybody and the committee and our Game and Fish and our Parks Department, just everybody's all on the same page.
Yeah. Scott Pillick, $122 fine for driving into Twin Base. Yeah. That's what we get down here, right?
I feel for you, boys.
Yeah, have fun fishing.
Yeah.
Well, right. Well, that made my day.
Yeah, right. Well, the thing that impressed me was how quickly it locked up here.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. It does. I mean, it just does. We've been real fortunate. So.
Well, you guys had put on the Facebook page, on the Mulbridge Ice Fishing Tournament Facebook page, that it's locked up, and I'm like, no way. So I went out there. I'm like, what the hell? This thing is locked up from here to here. You gotta be kidding me.
Yep. Yeah, when it happens, it goes fast. That's the thing. When it hits that right temp, it'll overnight, boom, it's there.
I think last year you guys were in a worse position going into like the 2 weeks prior to the tournament, and you guys had great ice for the tournament because it just hit.
Oh yeah, it hit and it made ice every night. Then we were in better condition because this year we had early ice, and then we got this warm weather and opened back up, and then a little snow on the ice got the water on top, and then of course as well in our forecast the next 2 days the wind's just been out of this world.
Yeah, I think when I talked to Kemnitz, I signed to Kemnitz last year. He's like, yeah, we were really nervous. We're glad we moved the tournament back a week because normally it was a week sooner.
Yep.
And he goes, we'd have been really scratching our head, and it just ice came on like no tomorrow.
Yeah, it went from 2 inches to 14 inches in a matter of 4 days.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Zero weather.
Yeah.
Right.
But that it was at that magic temp, and when it happened, it just made ice. For sure.
Well, at least it's going to be cold. It's supposed to be basically be in the 20s now through the end of the
forecast
weekend.
Is great. Like I said, everybody just be cautious out there, and it'll come off, and we'll all have fun, and hope everybody has fun and catch a few fish and just have a good time.
No doubt. Well, Kerry, you did it for 40 minutes. We better let you go do your deal. We appreciate you.
That's all right. Got me out of a little trouble, maybe.
Yeah, got you out of a little work. Appreciate it. Well, we'll see you Friday night then at the rules meeting.
All right, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Kerry.
Good luck to all right. And thank you to everyone.
Yeah, thank you. All right, let's pop that one up there. So Kerry Colnold joining us here tonight. That was pretty cool because he did that last minute and took time away from everybody to come and have a chat. And I think there were a lot of people that wanted to know, is this tournament happening? What's going on? Like I was telling my mom, doesn't matter whether they fish or not. The party's still in Mobridge. Things are happening.
Yeah, and this will be your first year up there for it. I won't be there this year, but I spent a bunch of time up there over the years, and like I said, fortunate enough to get in it a few times, have helped with it kind of all over the board. And it's such a great ran event that Mobridge Tourism Chamber or Mobridge Outdoors Committee does such a great job with that event, and they really know what they're doing. And yeah, it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You know, I wish I was up there, but it is hectic to find a room.
Cool.
And, you know, and actually I'm going to go to the hills with my family this weekend. So, but yeah, we had a comment earlier about Ponset.
Oh yeah, I'll go ahead, pop that up again from Jerry.
We had 4 shacks fall through on Ponset today. Yeah. So you said you've got some pictures you wanted to load in and show some of that stuff. It is super thin ice over. It's not good. I mean, it's been 50 plus degrees here in Pierre.
Yeah, it's especially further south. But okay, this is Sleepy Eye in Minnesota, and this was posted by, I think, KEYC, the TV station. This one is the Lake Ponset. This was on Hard Water Freaks. I could have popped some other ones up, but I'm like, I think we've got enough here. I think that one was on Lake Ponset as well. Hold on. This one is Big Stone. So now I think Artie had posted on their Facebook page, Artie's Bait and Tackle, that there's kind of an ice warning or something of that nature. I think my mom even sent it to me. Let's see if I can find it here real quick. Ice safety advisory for Big Stone Lake. Oh, and that comes from Big Stone County Sheriff. So that comes right from the sheriff's department. So, it's kind of crazy. Josh Loeb's got in, had a video as well. And this is up. I bit my tongue now for like the 5th time today. And I don't, maybe I'm talking too fast. I don't know, but Josh was talking about the water up in the Pollock area that, that's all over the ice. And so you saw did you see the videos on Facebook with all the water swirling down? And
I haven't seen
dumping through the ice. There's a lot of that. Let's see, what else do I have here? I've got, this one is just because, okay, speaking of stupid people, right?
Come on, people.
No, Charlie Kep, I think, Koepp. He put it on his Facebook page or on Hard Water or Ice Fishing South Dakota, one of those. I'm like, okay, you don't get to just leave your garbage somewhere because Game Fish and Parks isn't there to pick up after your freaking party. You pick up after yourself. Be a grown up and do the deal. This was bitter. Oh, that's right. This was bitter. Yeah, thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, seriously, people. Are you that damn dumb?
I mean, you think about that. Yes, that's the answer. Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
We had, Eelpow Fest in Walker, Minnesota went for how many years and they canceled it because of garbage.
Right.
Because of garbage. I've always been taught, and I always teach every kid I go with, that if we bring it in, we take it out. Right.
Yep, that is what you do. You take care of your own crap.
Youth goose hunt last weekend, and kids had hand warmers and they were throwing them around, and I made them pick up all the hand warmers. We made them pick up every shell they shot. I mean, we made it look like we were not there when it was said and done. Yeah,
good lesson, right? I mean, good lesson.
Throw it in the back of my pickup, I told them. I don't care. As long as it's not in this field, we will clean it up when we get home.
Yeah, why are people so damn lazy?
That's it.
We got to get out and party. Well, I'll tell you what, they'll work their keister off partying, right? They'll work hard to go out and party and fish, but we're not gonna pick up after ourselves.
We should have Eric Brandright on talking about Eelpow Fest. We had one fun weekend at Eelpow Fest, Brandright. You'll never be the same.
Oh no, he didn't have too much fun there, did he?
He had a lot of fun, and there's a lot of stories. It goes to Pat Kelmerton was there, Brian Brosdahl, Eric Brandright. Yeah, it was.
Well, I always wanted to go. It wasn't about the eel pout and fishing. It was about the girls.
It was about the party. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Party. Yeah. Tom, you're right. It'd be nice to have a dumpster at the boat ramps.
It would be. Yeah.
And that's, Game Fish and Parks is such a great job at fish cleaning stations in the summertime, trash cans in the summertime, but then they just lock everything up and we're done.
Well, and here's the other deal. Steve, you're right, man. Haul out the trash. Here's the thing. If this commode, if this crapper was a dumpster, here's where the garbage would be anyway.
Probably.
Some dipstick would put it beside the dumpster instead of in the dumpster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this, this whole thing, it's like, okay, what part of
Go back to that wheel shack that's surrounded by a drift and water. This is what I don't understand. I have pulled a wheel shack around and fished out of a wheel shack for 15 years of my life. I can count on less than one hand that I've left that thing unattended. I don't
not be doing that.
They go up and down faster than portables do.
Right.
Take it with you. I got a great the one time it wasn't even a wheel shack. We have a custom, or we had you've probably seen my dad's canvas craft trailer flip over.
Yeah.
So I had that out here, and it was winter fishing weekend. Me and a buddy went down to West Bend, drove all the way out, found some fish, and I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it tonight. That way in the morning we just gotta hop on the wheelers, run down here. I left it. It was great ice. There was over a foot of ice the whole river. We're going down that morning. We just got fresh snow. And it was snowing. And we're going down, and there's like 6 of us on 4-wheelers. And all of a sudden, I see brake lights come on, and everybody's grabbing brakes. And there's 200 yards of open water between me and my
No, really?
wide open. And I'm like, well, my ice shack's sitting out there.
Uh-huh.
How do we
get Did you get it then?
We got to. Yeah, we had to go in
around.
And then it ended up pushing back close. But it's 6 a.m. It's got just enough snow on the ice that you really can't see what the ice is.
Round.
Down there, and it was, thank God, didn't have a thin layer of ice because we'd all drove right in.
Sure.
But it was open, and we all grabbed brakes, and then we had to drive way around to get to the ice shack. And I'm like, I'm an idiot. Why did I leave that shack there? Just because I was lazy and didn't want to haul.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but we've all done it. We've all done the lazy thing, right?
Yeah. And I just figured, okay, it's 6 o'clock at night. I'm heading back in to go to the rules meeting, go do our stuff. We're going to be back here at 6 in the morning, and I've left that shack a time or two, but I've never left my big wheel shack anywhere.
Right. Okay, so here's the other thing that really
finish your thing. I got a great one here.
Okay, just because this is what grinds me. Okay, look at this one. This didn't get left overnight. This didn't get left overnight. This didn't get left overnight. They had to have been there for weeks, and we've had super nice weather.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, I get northern Minnesota where they go put them out, right?
Yeah,
I get that. I get if you live on Ponset and you put your shack out, or you live close. Kind of understand some of that, because we've left shacks out, right? When I was a kid, before we had wheel shacks that went up and down. But if the weather got nice, we were getting to it. And once you get to like the one that's surrounded in water, when that freezes back in, if it doesn't fall through and freezes back in, you have just as much of a mess.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to want to read this one.
Okay. Hello. Almost hit a homemade wheelhouse last spring in the boat. Ice came off quick and was floating in the water and only had about an inch exposed on the surface. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Now, did you see the new rule in North Dakota is if you've got an ice house on the ice, it has to be made of floating material. It can't sink. It has to float.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Even if you're in it?
I don't know if you're. Well, no, I'm guessing if you leave it. I don't know. Have left one hub overnight for me and my family, and that bugged me leaving it up on 26 inches of ice. Yeah, no, because you just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have a clue what Mother Nature's going to do.
Whoa.
We got into some really nice jumbo perch one year, ended up on this slough, and the weather was good. Everything was great. We all were fishing all day, and all of a sudden night came along, and we all were fishing, did our deal, woke up in the morning, and we were all drifted in. Somewhere along the line, it decided to snow enough and blow enough that the snow, because there was no snow on the ice, it stopped at the ice house, at the wheelhouse. It stopped at the pickup, and we had, I mean, we're talking hood high. You couldn't get into the door of the pickup. You couldn't get out of the ice house. It was just stupid.
Yeah,
you don't know what Mother Nature's going to do or what other people are going to do. Yeah, Tom, you're absolutely right there. I mean, it just
like I've you see that. Yeah, river ice.
Right.
100% agree. I get it, but I mean, as fast as my wheel shack goes up and down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I get it. If I'm going to Devil's Lake for a weekend and I'm staying in Woodlands,
yeah,
and I want to go in and leave my shack sitting out there on the lake overnight, I get that.
A little different deal. Even if you're cranking, right? Because yours is hydraulic, right? Okay, even I got to crank my 6.5 by 14. 3 cranks, big deal. Whoop, it's up. It literally 5 minutes. I'll bet it doesn't even take 5 minutes.
Setting your portable up takes longer.
Yeah, really. I mean, when it comes to you're taking all this down and you're doing all, and you're messing around with all that stuff. Yeah, it just, I will say the interesting thing about the river up here, or the lake, whatever you want to call it, at Mobridge, it really doesn't act that much like river ice. It acts more like lake ice. And maybe that's because it's been dead calm this winter up here for the most part, except for the occasional 50 to 60 mile an hour winds every few weeks.
Yeah. I mean, we've had those, right? I mean,
and we're going to have them again tomorrow night.
Yeah. Yeah. What a lovely winter we're having. They said it was going to be super cold. Farmer's Almanac one, unless late January, early February, February March gets into something horrible,
Yeah, it's going to be so short that it just won't matter, right? I mean, we could, the last time we had a bad winter, 2018 into 19, where we had, 18-inch blizzard or something of that nature, or you guys had that up here or out here. So it's been a while. Last year, like you said, we had the warm up. I don't know that it got to 50 degrees, but it was in the 40s, and it was gorgeous. So here we are. I'm thinking this is the new normal winter, and if that's the case, fantastic. I'm all about it. Hey, before I forget, I'm gonna pop this up too. Brian Brosdahl, next Wednesday night at 7:00. He's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So we're going to have a fun conversation with Bro, and maybe Heather will pop on too. I certainly hope she does. They lied about the weather. No surprise. Yeah, right. Yeah. Isn't that the truth? We're supposed to get all this snow and be cold and all this crappy crap. And 68 in Montana. See, that doesn't surprise me. So, Cade, when Mom was telling me about stories when we lived in Columbus, which is west of Billings on 94, she said it snowed on Christmas Day and wrecked everything, and got up the next morning and the snow was all gone.
Yeah, that's mountain living for you.
Yeah, right. So, bring me, and that was my deal. I didn't even want to come to Mobridge. I wanted to go back out to Montana. And I was going to go somewhere between Columbus and Billings, because I had some guys say, don't go to Bozeman. I'm like, I don't have money to go to Bozeman. I'm not going to Bozeman, but I want to go back to Montana.
You just didn't want to take you to the train station if you went to Bozeman.
Yeah. And I'm like, nope, I'm not going. And I wonder if Wayne Wilcox even told me this thing. He's like, dude, don't come out here. It's taxes. It's too expensive. It's, this is a play state now. It's not like it was when you were a kid and you think you remember what it was like. He goes, you're better off staying in South Dakota. And I had quite a few people tell me that. Stay in South Dakota. Why would you leave? Don't even go to North Dakota. South Dakota doesn't have a state income tax. And if you're not going to own property anymore.
Yeah.
So whatever. But
you're over my train station comment pretty quick there, bud.
I miss Yellowstone. I'm so pissed that it's over. Landman, what a great substitute. But now Tommy Norris got fired. But there's, you know what? If you haven't watched it yet, that's on you.
I have.
You know, and so here's the deal. There's so much legal stuff going on that Cammy can't fire Tommy. Tommy has more power than Cammy does. So it's, you know, it's going to be super interesting to see what actually comes of the whole deal. Yeah. I wonder I wonder if Kerry wants to pop back in and say something. Let's ask him. Did you want to pop back in and say something?
No, did I hit the button?
No. You were still there. So maybe all you're doing is sitting there listening. So I thought, well, we'll pop in.
I am. Okay. You guys are having a good conversation. I'm kind of chuckling.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. And we'll catch you in the next day or two.
All right, you guys have a good one.
Thank you. All right, see ya.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's just it. Like I tell everybody, you know, we live in God's country, and people say, "Oh, well, I'm from God's country," and I'm like, you know, I see people from all over the country come here, right, to fish, to hunt,
right,
stuff like that, and I'm like, you guys don't understand what we got. You know, you know, it's just we have a special place.
Were you going to sneeze?
No, and it's just cheap living. Okay. I was in the middle of saying something and I was reading a comment at the same time.
I thought you were going to give us a big sneeze. Yeah, it's going to get wild. Here's the deal, right? Because
this exactly, that's 100% a true statement.
Right? I like that. No, I mean, seriously, we
don't move here.
We are the new Columbia River, right? I mean, maybe not exactly, but we kind of are. Yeah. And we're right here. I mean, we're on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty exciting. And you think all the bait fish, it's making fishing harder than hell right now.
Which, you know what I mean? It's a cycle, and I'd rather have bait in our system than no bait.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have fish in our system than no bait. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'd much rather see good fish here and
you know, boy.
We got another comment from Cade.
Yellowstone ruined the south half of the state. However, just move to the ugly parts of Montana. You'll be at home. It's just the trout parts of the state that are ruined. The walleye part's still good. So that would be northern Montana, and you're talking the crappy part of Montana is the east half, right? Basically, over there. Yeah, no, I honestly, I'm, you know, I've been bummed out. Kerry and I talked, and I'm like, I haven't even cared to go fishing because everybody I talk to says they can't catch fish. And he said, well, you would just be pissed off anyway. You know, I'm like, yeah, why would I even, I'm not even going to try until we have the ability, you know, to safely go out. And then I still don't know what's going to happen. I'm honestly waiting for that pre-spawn bite. I'm gonna bring my little 16.5-foot angler up here, and because this fish is way different than whitlock. The whole wind thing, it's all different. I'm like, the hell with it. I'm fishing a small boat up here. I don't need anything more, and I can fish every day.
Yep.
So I'm excited to give it a try, to learn the area, to learn this stuff up here, because it's different. It's pretty special. You know, there are trees up here. I don't know. It's going to be fun to learn it.
100%.
You know, and I truly think, and his name's on the tip of my tongue. I just said it in my head. And Jim Randash.
Oh, Jimmy.
Yeah, it left me for a while. You know, now who predicted that the jigging Rat bite was going to slow down or disappear on the trees?
Yep.
Randash, he did it right here on this show.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, most awarded walleye fishing podcast, more participation awards printed on our printer here at the radio station. And we have more repurposed wrestling medals than any other podcast. Did you see Past the Barb? I think they were celebrating their 100th podcast, but they get good guys like Mercer and stuff like that, and like
you guys too.
We don't need no stinking Mercer. We got whoever comes along, and no, it's fun. Honestly, I was kind of starting to get to the point where I'm like, oh, another Wednesday, and then Wednesday night comes and it's fun to sit down and this is what makes it fun. Tom Seberg next couple of years are going to make that body of water blow up. Isn't that the truth? Especially if the water comes up, if we get another 5-6 feet of water. Right now it's at 1601 and 2 inches.
I want to go back down. I'm probably going to get hit for that. I want to go back down for a couple of years to keep that vegetation growing.
Really? Because I was going to say to this point now. What? Okay. Wait a minute. I'm going to agree with you because the water's been down so far now. The saplings are now becoming freaking trees.
Yeah, we got 1 or 2 more years of low water where those trees could build themselves to sustainable trees.
To become trees rather than saplings that just disappear and then your cover goes away within a season.
You have 4, 5, 6 good years of those trees.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're going to have a year. Let's get those trees so they're decent size, and then that vegetation, and then get that water up in them. Right now, if we go up a couple feet, we're going to see a great hatch. There's been so much vegetation growing on the shore. We're going to have a great hatch. Our system is, knock on wood, outside Mother Nature flooding us again. We're in a trajectory that we're going to see some amazing things over the next 5 to 10 years on this body of water.
I do believe so, because I think we've got the fish number.
Low water's a good thing. It just can't be, and we're not, people don't understand is, that water, people think we're low right now. We're not low. Yeah, no. I think Tom's right. It's time to start holding a catfish tournament. Yeah, I think we need to do a catfish, cat masters or something, because we got a lot of them in the system. I can't wait to watch the fishery stuff and then get Finsel on here. I haven't missed one in 3 or 4 years, but I also haven't missed a podcast yet. So, So I was debating on trying to go there and do that and everything. And this is we come here for our viewers. So, the Cat Classic, Tom's in.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and here's the thing about catfish, right? And I don't know if I can do this right or not. I guess I got to be here, and then you got your jig and wrap and you're doing this and it's doing this and you got this fish and all of a sudden, boom, and it's a catfish. A catfish just came up 20 feet, screaming over another 20 feet and hit that jig and wrap like it's the biggest walleye in the world. And it's a freaking catfish. I thought they were just down here on the bottom. We learned a lot about catfish with live sonar. Holy crap.
Yep.
Now Lowrance has the new 2X that's coming out. They've got the 360 view there where nothing's spinning, and that's going to be another interesting thing.
I got to see it in person down in Arkansas. It's very interesting.
You did get to see it. So what do you think?
A lot closer to Garmin than they've ever been. A lot better clarity than the Active Target 2. I don't quite. There's a couple things I like about it, and a couple things I don't. I don't think it's a big game changer. It's cool. It sounds cool. But you don't have to move your transducer. So you just put it in down mode and then you click on your screen down or forward. So very cool like that. The mount is incredible. Honestly, I hate to say it. The mount is one of the coolest things I've ever seen for a live scope thing. And, So, but to me, it's very cool that you can shoot forward and backwards. And one of the guys down there, he's like, well, now you don't need a live scope in the back of the boat for your partner. Well, if I'm turning my trolling motor, I'm still turning off your fish. So it really doesn't matter. obviously I was on a bass boat. I was on a bass boat with it on there, but they're saying you can see your crankbaits behind the boat. You can see your bottom bouncers and stuff behind the boat. Very cool to be able to do that. The one cool thing is the cone angle went from a 20 degree to a 21. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're shooting 80 feet out, 1 degree is a lot more. 20 degree goes out like this, 21 goes out like this. So as you get further out, you're getting more of a cone angle. Pretty cool there. The perspective, or they call, I guess, let me get this right. Lowrance calls it scout mode, where you turn it sideways.
Oh, yeah.
And Lowrance,
I think so, because this new thing is called Scout 360 or Scout Live.
Now Scout mode has two clicks on there. You can click. One is 15 foot of water and less, and one is up to 35 foot of water.
Okay.
And so to do 360, you need 2 of them, one pointing forward, one pointing backwards. But on the update, you can stitch your screen together.
Yeah, and you don't have it. That's the thing. You don't have any of that stitching stuff.
Yeah. So they got a couple updates. Very cost effective. They said you can still use your Active Target 2 black box. So you just need a transducer. You don't need to get a new black box. And they said black box and transducer, when they were telling us down there, I haven't looked at new pricing to confirm this, but they said it's going to be within $50 of the Active Target 2.
That's the 2XL.
Yep.
And then you got to buy the other. Yeah. See, so here again, it's big money.
All you got to buy is a transducer. You have to buy nothing else. And you it's on your old stuff.
If you want to have the Scout 360 or Scout Live 360, you have to buy 2 of them, but you have to have the HDS Pro. You can the 2XL. You can have the TI2, the Live, the whatever, blah 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 blah. Eagle. But I believe in order to use the 2 deucers and have the Scout Live, the Live 360, you got to have the HDS Pro.
Probably. I don't
know. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's what I read.
But I mean, for your normal forward facing, very cool. It shoots like you under your boat. It's not half of your boat.
Yeah, right.
So a very cool transducer. Be really interesting to see what Garmin brings.
I honestly, they're coming with something, right? They're coming with the LV36, whatever. And so the funny thing, I was just looking at, I was gonna pop up the script for my, and everybody blew me off. One of my episodes for In Through the Outdoors was called Scrolling for Walleye, Scoping Trolling. And I explain how to use live sonar, live scope. Well, you know what, Pat, you're a constable. You're one of the guys. You're one of the politicians. Politicians ain't the smartest people in the world. He's pretty. We're
here at an hour 7, hour 8. We appreciate everybody hanging on tonight. I'm glad everybody hangs on every week with us. We really appreciate everybody, and we'll wrap it up this week, and we'll be back next week with future Hall of Fame angler Brian Brosdahl.
Yeah, excited to have Brian on. I hope Heather pops on too. So, all right, then. Have a good one, folks. Thank you.